Hello, I'm back again with Lottery Posting Systems Part 2. And these are due numbers. This is particular system or lotto strategy that you can use to see which numbers are due for that week. And as you see on my board, I put new week starts on Sunday, meaning if you, in your state, if numbers fall, your new week starts on that Sunday. So say for instance, if you will write down 0, sorry about that, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And if you put a line up under each one to separate. Okay, and again, I'm here in Georgia. In Georgia, we have evening and midday numbers. So I would put midday up here to see what's due for the midday, and I will put evening down here to see which number is due for the evening. And you can do this with the cash 3, cash 4, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, whatever it is in your state. So again, I would do the same thing down here. I would write 0 through 9. And basically, it's just the same thing as above to show which number is due or which number hasn't came yet. And a lot of times you can get a straight hit off of this because it shows you which number that hasn't came. And we're going to start, just say for instance, Sunday. If my numbers were for midday, just say I would put 3, 5, 8, 2, 5, 6, 7, 2, 9, and we'll add one more. We'll do 7, 3, 7. And for evening, we'll put 3, 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, and 3, 9, 7. This is basically, I'm just making up numbers just in case to see if a number would have fallen. So we're back up to the midday numbers. These numbers may have fallen for the pick 3 or cash 3 numbers. And we basically look for zeros. How many zeros do we find in these particular numbers? There isn't a 0 there, so you don't put anything there. So you go to 1 and you count how many times that you see 1. There isn't a 1 either, so you don't put anything up under the 0 or the 1 because 0, 1 hasn't fallen beginning the week of Sunday. Then you have 2. You look at the numbers and see how many times 2 has fallen. 2 has fallen 1, 2 times, so I would come over here and write 2 up under the number 2 because it has fallen twice. Then I will go to number 3 and see how many times it has fallen for midday, and it's 1, 2. Again, it has fallen 2 times, so I will put that up under my 3. Then I'll go back and look for 4 and see how many times the number 4 has fallen. Number 4 has not fallen, so I wouldn't put nothing there. 5, go here and see how many times 5 has fallen. 5 has fallen twice in the numbers that I have written that has came out, so I would put 2 times for 5. Then I go to the number 6. Look for the number 6. I know how many times it has fallen in my hit numbers. I have 1. It has fallen 1 time, so I will put a 1 up under that 6. Then I go to the number 7. And 7, as you see, is 1, 2, 3. It has fallen 3 times. And I know this may seem like a lot of work, but it's well worth it because, like I said, you'll get a lot of hits off of these particular due numbers that hasn't fallen for the week. So I will go to my number 8 and count how many times 8 has fallen. It shows 1 time, And I will go to number 9 to see how many times 9 has fallen, and it shows 1 time. So for the week, just say for instance, if this was Sunday, these two were Sunday, Monday. For the rest of the week, you need to be looking out for the least hit numbers. The least hit numbers, or the numbers that haven't fallen at all, would be 0, because there's nothing there. And then it would be 1. And then I will go down to 4, because 4 hasn't fallen. And that would basically be it. So you can sometimes get a straight hit if you were to go play 0, 1, 4. That may be the number. Or you can go about the most that a number has fallen. And that means you would count up the number that's fallen the most. And I would start at the highest number. And the highest number on my chart, I have 3 has fallen. I'm sorry, 7 has fallen 3 times. So I would put a 7. After that, I would go back to the numbers that have fallen from up under 3 would be anything that has 2 in it. So I would go to 2, which has fallen twice. Then I will go to 3, which has fallen twice. So now I have the 7, the 2, and the 3. And then I have one more in 5. 5 has fallen twice as well. So I would put 5 there. So now I have my 7, my 2, my 3, and my 5, which has fallen. And these are the numbers that has fallen the least and the most. So what you would do, you would basically narrow it down to what numbers you want to play. You can play 7, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5, but for sure you should play 0, 1, 4. And basically you would do the same thing as far as your evening. And let me go ahead and do that for you again. Let me create one more number here. Just say 9, 3, 4. So if you were to do it for evening numbers, and this is a way that, like I said before, you can tell which numbers are due to fall or which number hasn't fallen. And sometimes they can go weeks and weeks without falling, but then you still stay on that number and chart these numbers down that hasn't fallen, so you can keep up with the number, and then you'll get a straight hit off of that. So the evening numbers, you can put just say 0. You want to look and see how many times 0 has fallen. 0 hasn't fallen. So you will go to 1. 1 hasn't fallen. So you don't put anything up under those 2. You go to 2, and then you look at your numbers and see how many times 2 has fallen. 2 hasn't fallen in these particular numbers. So you go to 3. You go back over here and look at your numbers. You have 1, 2, 3 times 3 has fallen. So you put 3. So now you go to the number 4 and see how many times it has fallen within that week. You have 1, 2, 3. So you put 3 times up under that 4. Now we're at number 5. You look at your 5, and then you go find out how many times 5 has fallen within the numbers. You have 5 has fallen 1 time. So you go back and you will write the 1. So you go to 6 and you do the same thing. Come back over here and look at it and see how many times it has fallen. You have 1, 2. It has fallen twice. So you go back there and write 2. So now you have 7. You're at number 7. See how many times 7 has fallen within the numbers. 7 has fallen once. So we go back over here and put 1 up under 7. And we have 8, which 8 hasn't fallen. So you don't put anything up under 8. And then you go back to the number 9, which is your last number, and see how many times 9 has fallen within the number. And I see 1, 2. So 9 has fallen twice. So I would put 2 up under my 9. So now the numbers that are due would be the least numbers, and then you have the most numbers. But we're going to do the least numbers first. Least number that hasn't fallen, you still have your 0, your 1. In this case, you have 2, and you have the number 8 that hasn't fallen. So for the evening, the least numbers that hasn't fallen that you don't show anything for was 0, 1, 2, 8. So 0, 1, 2, 8 basically shows you that those are the due numbers for this particular number strategy. Now we go back and find the most number that has fallen. You know, 0 hasn't fallen, 1 or 2. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 that has fallen. So I'll go back and look at the one with the highest number of position that it has fallen, and I have 3. So I would put 3 here, but one of the numbers are being the most because it's fallen 3 times. Then I will go to the number 4. 4 has fallen 3 times as well. So I would come back and write number 4. Then I have, basically I have 6 and 9. 6 has fallen twice and 9 has fallen twice. So I will write the 6 and the 9 down here. And I would get my hits or choose a number out of these particular 4 numbers. So that's basically how you would do these particular hits to find out the due number. If you ever heard anyone say this number is due and that number is due, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, because this would be due numbers. Okay, stay tuned to part 3 of the lottery systems.